What's going on, you guys? I'm Mitchell with Mitchell's Lawn Care. Welcome to the channel. If you're new, thanks for tuning in. If you're a loyal subscriber, welcome back. I hope that each and every one of you are having a wonderful and blessed day, that you're happy and healthy, and you're just capitalizing on a new year. This is going to be a new series for me, a new playlist, if you will, all about Jobber. If you are interested in it, you're already a user, whatever it may be, I'm going to try to do a few episodes that dive into Jobber, kind of a tutorial, if you will. So without further delay, let's get into this. So, in March of 2019, I just want to give a little quick backdrop, okay? March of 2019, I started using Jobber, and I knew about them since 2017 when I went to my first GIE Plus Expo. I saw their booth set up, and I didn't know what it was, kind of just walked by, started asking some questions, and found out it was a software-based company that worked in our industry, the green industry, okay? They service many other industries, but they have software that is tailored for us, okay? So I kind of pawned it off. You know, I was using QuickBooks and had been using it for years, and it was the method and system by which I used, and you know, it was working for me, but it wasn't working great. And the more and more I thought about it, and the more and more time I spent in my office, I realized that something had to change. So January 1st of 2019, I was like, okay, now's the time. We've got to do something, okay? So I switched to a free CRM software, not Jobber, and I wasn't happy, okay? I'm not going to tell who that was, but you know, I just wasn't happy with that software. Their customer service was lacking. I didn't like the app. I didn't like the desktop software, yada, yada, yada. So I was growing really frustrated because time was ticking. I'm going further into the year. I had already turned my back on QuickBooks and my old method, and I needed to get something in place quick. So enter Jobber. The customer service team at Jobber has been wonderful, and the rest is history. So this first episode is pretty much going to be from the point of you've already signed up with them, you know, you've got your package deal, and you're ready to get started with your first client, your first job, and you want to know what to do, okay? So that's what this video is going to be. Let's dive into it. This is the home screen that's going to list, you know, requests you have in, your quotes, your jobs, and your invoices, stuff that is past due, needs attention, drafts, things like that. So this is kind of a quick reference screen for you to see, you know, pretty much what's going on, what you've got out there, what you've got coming in, and what you may need to handle, okay? So you want to go to new client, alrighty? So you get the phone call coming in, and it's Mrs. Doe, Mrs. Jane Doe, for conversation purposes, okay? And you've got them on the phone, so you would go to right here. This is Miss Jane Doe. Now, company name, this is a great spot if it's a commercial account, and that's, you know, what you want the you know, the headliner be on the quote, on the invoice, stuff like that. So right here, company name, let's say Jane Doe is the CEO of Food Lion. That's a grocery store where I live. So Food Lion, and you want that to be the account title. So you could select right here, use company name as the primary name. Okay, so you would select that, and it would put that kind of like bold on your quotes and invoices, okay? If you wanted to do that. Now, right here is your contact details, phone number, and there's a little drop box right here. So work, mobile, home, fax, and other. So if this is her main number, you would put her main number in. A lot of times people call from their mobile, and you would ask them that, you know, is this a cell phone? So you could label that and put in their number. All right. Now, right here, receives text messages is a great thing to know from that client because you can send them their quotes and invoices and correspondence via text message. It gives them a link that they can go to for the Client Hub. So right here, when you select mobile, all right, there's a little tab, a little switch for on or off for receives text messages. Okay, if they receive them and they would like to get it that way, you can do this, receives text messages. Okay, if you want to, you can add another phone number. All right, so let's say you can contact them at home. All right, but their primary contact is their mobile phone. You would just hit that little star right there. Okay, so do that. Now, down here would be their email address if you want to send all correspondence to email. So let's just do jane.doe@getjobber.com. It's a fake email, and that's their email address. Okay. Now, under here is all your automated notifications, quote follow-ups, appointment reminders, stuff like that. Okay. And then there's settings for all of that. Additional client details if they were referred by somebody. So let's say Miss Jane Doe was referred by John Smith. Okay, and you can also add any other custom fields that you want. That'll be a whole another video I do on customizing Jobber to tailor fit your needs. Okay, so I'm not gonna allow that, but anyways, so her street address, and let's just pick one of these random ones that came up from Canada, because Jobber is a Canadian-based company. And right here, if you need to put in tax, you can. Is their billing address the same as their property address? And additional property details. This is a really good place to fine-tune this contact, okay? I have already added in this custom field right here. Visit frequency. Is it going to be a weekly service or a bi-weekly service? Okay, and I'll show you how to do that. Are there turf treatments at that property? Okay, let's say there's a turf treatment and it's $75 per treatment. Okay, so that's in there now, so you know what to bill them in case you subcontract that. Is there a dog? Is there a locked gate? You can highlight that, and all of this is customizable. Is the yard small, medium, or large, if you need to know that. And then right here it says add custom field. Okay, so you can click on add custom field, and this is where I put in the turf treatments, the frequency of visit, stuff like that. So you would just type it in right here. The true or false is the little box that you can select. Drop down fields would be where you select weekly or small, medium, large yard, and then the text field is where you can type in a price. Okay, so that's pretty much it for setting up a client. Okay, and you would do it a lot quicker if you're not trying to record this, but anyways, that is your client details. So right down here where it says save client, you will save the client. All right, and looks like we've got some wrong phone numbers, and this is good though because you may enter in something that's invalid. Okay, so I'm gonna try and do this, a default number, just for that, and see if that'll save. And it did. Okay, now this is your client screen. Alrighty, so everything that you just entered in is right here in this main client screen. Okay, so you've got their address. Okay, you've got all the custom fields that you just entered. Right here is the overview for requests that have come in from them, quotes that you may have, jobs, and invoices. Here is all of the company information and their phone number, email address, who they were referred by. If you need to add tags, you can. We can go into that. And once there is billing history, all of that will be right here, and Jobber payments. Okay. Also, you can make notes on this client, if whether it be a good thing or a bad thing. If there was something wrong with the property, you can notate that in the date, and talk to them later about that, if you will. Okay. So if you need to edit it, send them an email. And more actions right up here in the top right corner is very important. If you click on more actions, this is going to bring up all of your action items. Did they request you to do something? Do you need to send them a quote? Do you need to schedule a job? Do you need to send them an invoice? Do you need to collect a payment from them? Task, calendar, event, so on, so on, so on. All right, and if you do work for them, if it's a one-time thing, you need to archive them, you can archive them. It's better to archive them than delete them because they could come back, 6 months from now, a year from now. You go into your archive file, pull them right back up. You don't have to re-enter in anything. Okay? So, you've got it in. Now, Miss Jane Doe called because she wants you to trim the shrubs at her house, trim the hedges. Okay? So, sure, Miss Doe, I'll come out, give you a quote. Okay? So, under actions, you've already been out or you're on your mobile app, but for the sake of this episode, this is the desktop. Okay? So, you would go to quote. All right. Here is your quote. Okay? Right here is the job title. So this is where I always type what's going on. Okay, so she wanted hedge trimming or shrub trimming, so you would just type hedge trimming. Okay, all of her information is right here, and up here you can see this is quote number 1. If you need to start at a different sequence number, you can do that. Let's say you've merged in other software like QuickBooks or something, you've already got quotes going, and you need to start with quote number 72, you can. And then rate your opportunity. Okay, as you can see right here, unlikely, maybe, likely, very likely, or certain. Okay, so after talking to her, she seems like there's a really good possibility that she really, really wants you to do some work for her. So, you can give it 4 stars. It's very likely. You're very likely to get this job. Okay. Again, custom fields. And right here is your product service. Okay. And this is the spot where you're going to put in whatever you're doing. Okay. And I can show you real quickly how to set this up. So, these are things that I have already plugged in to make things quicker. And if you type in something new, it gives you the option to save that product or service, okay? The green industry is mainly a service industry, not so much products, okay? So these are all services that I have put in. And I will go down here to trim hedges, okay? And it says trim hedges as described in notes. So you can either put that right here. You can leave the client a message right here. This would be viewed by the client, okay? And then there's a section down here that says internal notes and attachments. This is not viewed by the client, okay? This will only be something that would be viewed by you, an admin on the account, a user on the account, like an employee or something like that. So trim hedges as described in notes. I always just back this out. Let's say I had a recent video about hard pruning some burning bush. So let's just say she had 3 burning bush shrubs that she wanted hard pruned back. So you could put 3 burning bush shrubs hard pruned and debris removed. Okay. And if that service is going to take you an hour, you could say an hour, whatever your unit cost is. Let's just say 75. And there's your price. It's going to do the subtotal. If you need to offer in any discount right here, if you need to put in tax, the total, and some jobs, bigger jobs where there's materials involved, like hardscaping, landscaping materials, stuff like that. If you need to add in a deposit right here, you can. Looks like I turned an arrow on, but anyway, you can add in a deposit, okay, right there. So some guys require 25 or 50% up front, okay, so that's where you would put that in. So let's just say that this is done and you want to type in a message to the client, that says, please make sure there are no obstructions, obstacles in the landscaped beds prior to arrival. Okay, and they're gonna know when you're coming because you're gonna send them this quote. It's gonna be once they approve it, you'll schedule it as a job, and all in the client hub they're gonna see this. Okay, so even right here it says client view, so you can change that if you need to. So it says adjust what your client will see on this quote. To change the default for all future quotes, visit the PDF configuration. Okay, so they need to see everything: the quantities, unit calls, line item totals. Okay, I have found that showing a client more is better than showing them less. Leave the opportunity for them to ask questions, to a minimum. Just give them everything you freaking got. So anyways, that would be on the quote. So here's some options down here. Okay, it says save and. Okay, click on that. So then you get some options to save it and send as a text message, save it and send as an email, save and convert to a job, or save and mark as awaiting response. So if you wanted to send it as a text, that would be what you do there. So it automatically save it and do these. It would do 2 action items at the same time. It would save and do one of these 4. Okay. So for the sake of this conversation and episode, we're going to pretend that we are saving and emailing it to her, okay? But I'm going to put it as mark as awaiting response. So right now it is saving it, and you'll see right here, awaiting response, okay? Now, this has already sent it to Miss Doe, okay? So this has already been sent to Miss Doe. And it will say in this general area right here when she or when the client has viewed it. So you will know, and it kind of keeps them honest because some of them will say, oh, well, I never saw your email or blah, blah, blah. Right here, it's going to show when they opened it. Okay. Now, they may have opened it and not looked at it, but it's going to show that they at least saw it in their inbox. Okay. This comes in handy when it's time for invoicing. So right here, you created it, it was sent, and then once they open it and see it, it will say opened and then the date, okay? Now, in Client Hub, which I'll go about later, not in this video, you can require that client to approve it and do a signature, okay? Once they approve it, you will get this quote back via email, okay? And it'll say right up here, approved, okay? You can also manually do that. So under more action items right here, convert to job, create a similar quote, okay? Send as an email and mark as approved or archived. Another thing, preview as client. So let's do that real quick just to see what it's going to look like if you were the client. So preview as client. This is it in Client Hub, okay? So through Client Hub, your customer can review quotes, invoices, or make new requests. Got it, okay? So here it is, all right? Now the client down here at the bottom would be able to request changes or approve it. So if they want to approve it, it says this action is only available for your clients. They would click on that and then virtually sign it. Or they can request changes. So that they may say, hey, Mitchell, or, hey, contractor, we want to add to something or we want to take away something, only do 2. So they can request changes. You may have several different line items in here. Let's say trim hedges, mow the grass, pressure wash, and they may request a change. Say, hey, listen, do everything except the pressure washing. So this is a really nice feature, all right? So we'll X out of that. Now, like I said, you can manually approve it. So that's what we're going to do. All right. So MITHGO approved the quote, and you will see right here that it is now marked approved and that it was approved on the date. Alrighty. At this point, it's time to schedule or convert to a job. So right here, it says convert to job. So you're going to click on that. And so job for Miss Doe, title, hedge trimming. If you need to put any instructions on here for yourself or your employees, you can do that. And it's going to say quotes based off quote 1, which has one line item worth a subtotal of $75. And this right here is important, okay? Is it a one-off job or is it a recurring job? Lawn service is your recurring jobs. Landscaping is more of your one-off jobs. This is going to be a one-off job. If it's a multiple job date or multiple day job, you would put that in right here, your start date, your end date, and once you have some work in Jobber, this little calendar would actually have things in it to where you could see it. So you would know, okay, don't schedule it the 18th through the 20th because there's things there. So for this video's purposes, we're going to select the 18th. Okay, so you come over here, the 18th, the end date, which we really don't need to for hedge trimming, but I always fill it in anyways, and the start time. So let's just say we want to start it at 9 a.m. and it's going to take us an hour. So 10 a.m. There's your time. If you need to schedule it later, you want to go ahead and convert it to a job, but schedule it later, you can do that by selecting this little box right here. This is your team members. If you've got other crew members, employees, team members, whatever you want to call them, that are in Jobber, they're users, you can select them right here. So you would say assign, and I'm the account owner. Megan is an employee with Jobber who set me up with this account. So let's just, for conversation purposes, Megan is my employee. So I could then select Megan right there, and it's going to put her on it. Now, Megan, the crew member, is going to get an email, a notification that, her schedule has been updated, a job has been updated, whatever. She can go on her phone and check that out, okay? Or you can take that off. You can put yourself on it, okay? So, depending on how many employees you have. Right here, invoicing. So, remind me to invoice when I close the job is very important, okay? If you need to make any changes to the products or services, you could do it right here. If they requested that change, you can add it in right here, okay? Again, internal notes and attachments are viewed by the users of Jobber, and depending on how you have that set up. All right. So let's see. I think that's pretty much it. So you would right here down at the bottom, okay, you're going to save this job. And billing frequency upon job completion. The visits, you've only got one visit assigned to me and Megan. There's no timesheet right now, and there's no billing. This is all new. Okay, so and then right here is the process. It was requested, you quoted it, you've scheduled the job, and that's still blank because you would have to invoice it. Okay, so we're going to go back over here to home, and you'll see what I was talking about at the beginning. So right here under jobs, okay, you're going to see there is one active job for $75. Alrighty. And go right over here to the week. We're going to go ahead to January 18th, which is when I scheduled it. And you'll see right here from 9 to 10 a.m. is when I scheduled that job. Okay. So if you can imagine, you've got a bunch of other jobs in here, you'll be able to see that. Anything that you scheduled later will be over here in this column right here, unscheduled, and you can drag and drop any of this. That's why this software is so nice. Let's say Miss Doe calls and wants to reschedule for the next day, same time next day, and you're able to do that. Then you can easily switch it. Or if there's a weather a weather event that keeps you from doing it. Watch how easy this is to reschedule. It rains Monday and Tuesday, but you can get started Wednesday at 9. Just select it and drag it. You can move it anywhere in this schedule. Okay, so now Wednesday at 9, it's right there. You can click on it and you can complete it. All right, you can edit it and you can view the details of it. All right, so let's move it back. Let's fast forward. It's now Monday the 18th. It is now 10 a.m. You have completed this job. Click on it. Complete. Now, since this is the only job that I schedule, the only visit, you have the option to close the job or schedule a new visit. Okay? So, there's nothing else planned for Miss Doe, so we're going to close the job. Alrighty? Now, right here, it specifically states requires invoicing, okay? And you will see right here, generate invoice. It is super easy, okay? You want to select generate invoice. Now, here is the invoice, okay? If you need to make any changes, now's the time to do it, okay? You can select the date that you're sending it. It will automatically do it for you. If you need to select a different date, you can do it. Okay, so the 15th, which let's say the 18th because that's when we completed it. The payment due, the net terms, is it due in, whatever, 15 days, 30 days, 40 days upon receipt, or you can do a custom feature. I always did net 15. Okay, again, if you need to add a custom field right there, you can. If you need to say something to the client, some of the stuff will automatically be put on your forms if you set it up. If you want to say something to them right here that's not already a default on your invoice, you can, because they will see that. Again, anything internal notes and attachments, they will not see. Subtotal right here. If you want to add a discount, you can do it either dollar amount or percentage. Okay. If you need to add in tax, you would do that, but you can create your own tax rates based on where you live. And if they, again, deposits, and if you're set up to do jobber payments, all of that will be right here. Okay, so this one's already done. The subject is for services rendered, and we want to, again, here's the same option, save and 3 different action items. Save and send as a text message, an email, or collect payment. Sometimes you get done with a job, you're right there, and they already are ready to pay, so there's no delay in that of getting back to the office, your house, or wherever you go. You could literally send them an invoice, collect payment before you ever leave the property if you're on your phone, iPad, whatever. Okay, so we're going to save the invoice. All right. And right here, it's going to show that it's a draft because it's not been sent. So you would need to go under more actions right here, send as a text message, send as an email, or mark it as sent. Okay, maybe they don't do anything electronic. Maybe they want you to mail stuff. Okay, so if you want to mail an invoice, you would do what I did just before. You would save it. It would say draft. And then you're going to print it out right here. And then you're going to mark it as sent, the little envelope. Okay. So it's going to send it to your printer and it automatically says awaiting payment. Now you have sent it to them. They've mailed you a check and it's time to collect the payment. Or if they've sent you some kind of payment like PayPal, Zelle, some kind of Cash App, whatever, you're not set up on credit card jobber payments, and you have to manually collect that payment, you would go right here to collect payment, okay? And there's different methods: cash, check, credit card, bank transfer, money order, or other. So let's say they sent you a check. It was for $75. The date of that transaction, if there was a check number, you can put it in right here. details. This is a default payment applied to invoice number 1. I never messed with that. The invoice balance and the account balance, okay? Let's say it's a big job and they only paid 50%. You could put that in right here and the remaining account balance would be here, okay? Now, if it's that client that doesn't do anything electronic, you would just save this, okay? If you send them text messages or emails, at this point, you can save and email the receipt. They will get a receipt of payment. Some people like that. So we're just going to mark it saved. And voila, job has been paid. All right, if you need to reopen it, you can. If you need to do any of these, text message, email, whatever, you have many options. Okay, so now we're going to go right back over here on the left side of the screen to people. You've got Ms. Jane Doe. Click on it. So this is the main client screen. Now we have billing history where we didn't before. So it's going to show that we invoiced Ms. Jane Doe and when we got the payment. Okay. Under here, what was scheduled, the overview, pretty much any information that you need for this client is right here. Recent pricing for this property, etc., etc. And you guys, that is pretty much it for, oh, that's something I wanted to show you right there. Once you have completed a job, that's what it's going to look like right there. It's going to have a little hash line through it, so you know that it's been completed. And all of this is customizable the way it looks or whatever. You can change the colors of things if you want, you know, a certain service to be a different color because you've got a bunch going on, you got a bunch of team members or whatever. You can have one service to be red, one service to be blue, one service to be green, or you can do your teams like that. You know, your team 1, team 2, team 3. You can have all of that on here. It's so customizable what you can do with this. Right here's your month view. It's going to show invoice reminder. All of this is customizable. So that's all going to be for another video. All right, you guys, that is the first episode for my Jobber series, setting up a client, setting up a job, quoting and invoicing. Not really in depth, but just the basics of how to get started. Okay, the next episodes will be, you know, customizing Jobber for you, adding in services or products, doing, you know, reports, more of your tax stuff, getting or generating expense reports and things like that. So there's going to be several different series, or, you know, several different episodes in this series to show you how awesome Jobber is and how much I have thoroughly enjoyed it. If you've enjoyed this video, give it a big thumbs up. I'd greatly appreciate it. In the link of the video down below, there's a Jobber link, and you can get 6 months, 20% off. Let me rephrase that. You can get 20% off of your first 6 months by clicking on that link below. It'll also give you a 14-day free trial. So you can try it out for 14 days. And then at the end of that trial, if you love it and you wanna push forward, you'll get 20% off of your first 6 months. And during that trial, Jobber will work with you to make sure that you understand it, okay? And you can also, you know, use this video to set up that client, get that first job going, quote them, and invoice them. So, again, give it a big thumbs up if you enjoyed it. I greatly appreciate you guys tuning in. If you enjoyed the content, thank you so much. Let me know in the comment section down below. Y'all have a wonderful day. I'll see you next video.